Welcome to the 2020 Carl Sandburg College Foundation Scholarship Reception. My name is Emily Wabel, and I'm the Executive Director of Advancement here at the Foundation. We are so delighted to join together to honor our students. And obviously we're celebrating a little bit differently this year, but we still want to gather together to honor the donors' generosity as well as the hard work the students have achieved to receive this scholarship opportunity. I sincerely want to thank you all for your continued participation and support of the Foundation during these times, and the generous gifts that help create opportunities for the students in the years to come. So while COVID has prevented us from gathering together, the pandemic cannot stop the opportunity to recognize our donors and scholarships that the recipients are about to receive. We look forward to this program.
Hi everyone, my name is Cassidy St. Clair and I'm the Coordinator of Scholarships and Donor Relations here at Sandburg. Scholarships can be life changers for students. As a former student, I can attest to the relief that comes from scholarships. To have had that extra funding to pay towards tuitions and books was huge. I now have the opportunity to see how that plays out for others in my new role here at the Foundation. We have so many students who have already shared with us how scholarships has made a difference in their lives. For some, they'd simply not be here had they not had scholarship funds available to them. But don't take my word for it. Here's a message from Joshua, a 39-year-old student who has benefited from the generosity of our donors.
My name is Joshua Hinckel. I'm a sophomore here at Carl Sandburg College. I am currently the student body president here at Carl Sandburg College. I'm a member of the art club and I am in PTK. I joined the military at 17. 2 years later, 9/11 happened, and I spent the next 15 years in and out of hot zones. And then I was medically discharged because there was something happened overseas. I was injured, and from the time I got out of the military to the time I was at Western Illinois was a 90-day transition period. So to say the least, I was not able to stay in school due to my mental health. I didn't get the treatment physically or mentally that I needed, and it cost me in the long run. It took me 10 years to get back to school. I was introduced to the Foundation through the crisis grant. Right at the start of COVID, the VA disability checks were late, and I relied mostly on them. And my boss in student life introduced me to Emily Webel, and the school fast-tracked a crisis grant for me, and it kept me going, kept me in school. And I will pay that back. I still have the original envelope hanging on my thumb board, and when I graduate with PhD, I will hand walk it to the Foundation in the same envelope that I got it.
I gotta say, this is the grant, you don't have to pay that back.
Correct, I do not. Yeah, no, I absolutely feel that maybe that year that I'm paying it back, there's that one extra student that needed that help, and they'll be able to do it. So if it's between me paying back the amount and not paying it back, and a student being able to stay in school, I'll pay it back every time. But no, I don't have to. It's just some maybe a personal pride thing. Honestly, it bought food and gas to get to school. I had already used the resource room a couple times that month, so I felt really bad about using it again. And plus, I wasn't able to get it to school, so it paid for the gas for the remainder of the month, and it bought food for me and my son. But I think everybody uses it differently. Maybe there's a power bill that's going to come due and it's wintertime and they're going to shut their power off, and the crisis grant comes through when you pay your power. It's really on a case-by-case basis of what you need that funds for. And if you don't have a good reason for doing it, obviously they're not going to grant the crisis grant, but it really kept me in school. Last semester, I would have had to drop out had not the crisis grant came through. You do have to put yourself out there when you are seeking the crisis grant. It's kind of the same concept when you make an appointment for the resource room. You're having to admit to at least one person that you're in need. You need food for your household, and right now with COVID restrictions, it's not open all the time, so you have to make a specific appointment. And it's the same way with the crisis grant, is you have to admit, all right, look, I'm in trouble, I'm hurting, I need your help. And Carl Sandburg, they have come through every time.
The success of a Sandburg student like Josh demonstrates how scholarships can break down invisible barriers to education and open doors for student success. Through the generosity of our donors, our students are able to concentrate on their studies and truly embrace the experience of what college should be. Congratulations to this year's recipients. What a testament to student resiliency. Good news may be hard to find these days. However, student success is definitely worth celebrating. Success like this would not be possible without the good deeds and kind actions of our donors. Each donor has a reason for why he or she chooses to give generously. It could be to honor a loved one who has left this earth too soon. It could be to honor a college experience or a successful career. Either way, our donors have chosen to pay it forward and see that our students can have valuable educational experiences. Mary Panther is one of our incredible donors who's going to share her story of why she chooses to give generously.
On behalf of the Carl Sandburg College Foundation Board of Directors, I would like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to each and every one of our scholarship recipients. It is our hope that these scholarship awards will help open doors for you as you pursue amazing dreams for your future. The donors who have established these scholarships believe in you and in the power of education to change lives. Each of these donors has a story to tell, but this evening I'd like to tell you a little bit about my parents, the people behind the Donald and Roberta Reeder Endowment, and their legacy of giving. Don and Roberta were children of the Depression. They attended one-room country schools, and only one of my 4 grandparents obtained more than an 8th grade education. A major force in Dad's life was what he learned at the side of his father: how to build things, how machines work, how to care for livestock. He learned the value of hard work and using the resources at hand. As a child, my mother developed a love of music and reading. These helped her to transcend her challenging circumstances and to connect with the broader world. Both were first-generation high school graduates. Mom's dream was to become a registered nurse. Her family was not able to support her in this endeavor, but with the help of a dear mentor at the nursing school and working extra shifts while she studied, she was able to achieve her goal. For Dad and thousands of others of his generation, the GI Bill made it possible for him to dream of life beyond his parents' small farm. After serving as a boat mechanic in Japan during the Korean conflict, Dad made the life-changing decision to attend college and then to apply to the University of Illinois College of Veterinary Medicine. It wasn't an easy path for a young married couple with 2 children, and I remember as a 4-year-old going with Dad to the U of I dairy barn where he worked on weekends tending stock, or greeting his classmates who came to our apartment for cheap haircuts as Dad had taught himself some basic barbering skills. I imagine that my parents were quite sleep-deprived during those vet school years, but they didn't lose sight of their goal and they were willing to work hard to achieve it. But even so, higher education would have been out of the question were it not for Dad's tuition being covered by the GI Bill. In 1960, our family moved to Galesburg and Dad established Knox Veterinary Clinic. This was the end of my parents' formal education, but it was the beginning of a path of lifelong service and learning. My parents' association with Carl Sandburg goes back to the early days of the college when classes were being taught in the basement of the Central Congregational Church. Dad taught a night class to local livestock producers in animal nutrition for several years in the late 60s. Mom and Dad watched the college expand over the following decades, and they were delighted in the opportunities afforded to local students of all ages, particularly non-traditional students. My parents were involved in many forms of service to the local community. Habitat for Humanity was one of their passions. In addition to Don and Roberta donating farmland for several new constructions, Dad loved to pour cement. He's responsible for the majority of the foundations, sidewalks, and driveways at local Habitat houses. When Dad turned 80, he expressed concern that the younger volunteers at Habitat were beginning to give him the easy jobs and suggested that he might want to sit and supervise, but he always wanted to carry his weight. I'm reminded of a quote from Winston Churchill: "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give." Mom passed away in 2013, and my father 2 years later. At their deaths, we heard so many wonderful stories of people who were affected by their generosity and kindness. People who were recipients of meat from their freezer, wheelchair ramps, or 4-H'ers who needed health certificates for showing animals at the fair. Emily asked me to speak tonight about my parents' endowment fund and why it was established. And I wish I could say for sure, but like so many things that my parents did, they did it without fanfare. I imagine that it was Mom's idea. She listened to stories of need in the community and wanted to find a way to make it possible for young people like you to pursue their dreams the way that she and Dad had been helped in their early years. Being able to pay it forward in the form of a scholarship endowment brought them much joy, and my husband Mike and I are proud to be able to continue their legacy. My parents' story is a legacy of service, and Galesburg is a better place today because they lived. Students, congratulations on your achievement. Enjoy your time at Sandburg and use it well. The Foundation Board and all of our donors believe in you and in your ability to make Western Illinois a better place. Each of you has a story just waiting to unfold. We wish you the very best. God bless.
As you can see, it takes a lot of moving parts to make all of this work, but it starts with you, the donors. We cannot thank you enough for giving generously. Thank you for your continued generosity.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Foundation Board, I want to first of all congratulate all of you who have received awards this evening. And I want to thank both boards for their selfless dedication to Carl Sandburg College and all that they do to support our students. To the students, I hope you take pride in your accomplishments and the acceptance of these awards. But I also hope that you think about the people who have made the sacrifices to give you these scholarships. Many of the people who support our students are people who like yourselves, not so long ago found themselves in the same position, needing a little bit of help, a little bit extra to make sure that they could be a successful Carl Sandburg graduate. Giving back to our community is something that is embedded in what we do here at Carl Sandburg College. We exist to support the community, to provide the next generation of the workforce, to provide the opportunity for people to overcome whatever obstacles they've had in the past, and who now see education as a transformational path for their lives and for the lives of their families. To the donors and those people who have contributed to make such a difference in the lives of our Carl Sandburg students, thank you. Your dedication and your commitment to the college and your vision and faith in our future generations are what make it possible for us to go boldly into the future. And to the students who are accepting the awards this evening, I want you to think a little bit about what might you do in the future when you have the opportunity. Giving back is part of the American way. Giving back in the future when you can, whatever amount you're able to give, to help other people just like yourselves who are in need of some support. Philanthropic giving is an important part of the culture at Carl Sandburg College. Much of what we have around us in terms of our buildings, our equipment, our support, our scholarships, is because of the selfless generosity of people who have seen the value of education and the value of supporting our Carl Sandburg students. So on behalf of the board, the faculty, staff, and administration, thank you so much for your generosity. And to the students who've accepted these awards this evening, congratulations. We wish you Godspeed and the best of luck in your future endeavors.